What advice do you have for people who are just starting their networking career?
I was looking for a community where I could just go and meet people who are willing to help me.
There's a way to compensate those introducers.
You talk to people and you know you can genuinely give people value. People will resonate with that.
Hey, this is Mike from IntroStars, and today I'm very excited to bring you a brand new episode of the Super Connectors podcast in New York. And for today, we've got a very special guest star, one of the best organizers of super cool events for startups in New York, working for SeedLegals. Ilias, so good to see you, dude.
How are you guys doing? Super excited to be on here today. Honored to be on the show. So excited to get into it.
So, Ilias, you organize so many events. You meet so many people all the time. Naturally, you're bound to become a super connector by just bringing those people together. What does it really mean to you personally to be a super connector?
You know what's funny? When I first saw that you guys were branding like this word with your guys' company, I never really looked at myself in that way. It's just something that I feel like you just naturally do when you are a community builder. It's something that comes with it. And I think to properly answer that question, I would say giving value without expecting to receive it back. I think that's what it means to be a super connector.
And what kind of introductions do you make on a day-to-day basis? What are typical people you introduce? How many introductions do you make per day, per month, per year? Like, do you keep any track of that?
Yeah, so I mean, now that I'm obviously under the structure of a bigger corporate company like SeedLegals, I mean, they've helped over 70,000 founders fundraise over 2.7 billion on their platform. I'm not getting paid to say that right now, but that's like the type of consistency that they have with their organization. And when I was a community builder beforehand, I didn't really have the proper system to help me set that up. And now, because I'm in that organization, I speak to thousands of founders a month, whether it be through the events that we do, the partnerships that we do, or if they're coming to get help for legal support, they have to talk to our team. They have to talk to me, and we make sure that we get them in like the right direction. So I guess, do you mind asking me the question again?
Yeah, I mean, really, how do you approach connecting people? Who are the typical people you introduce to each other? You go to so many events. I guess it's typically founders.
Yes, cheers. Yeah.
I imagine that, but other types of introductions you make, like what are typical introductions you make and how many do you make?
Yeah.
Keep
So
track of that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically predominantly founders, but obviously founders can also be community builders and also be creators. But mainly most of the time it's setting up founders and connecting them to investors. Even though the platform doesn't do that, the community itself is very big on that, from the group chat that we have to people coming into events. And as soon as they walk in, look, I'm very conscious of why people are here. New York City is constant noise. It's like they could go to a Broadway show, they could go to a concert, they could go, grab some food from the deli, but they chose to come to your networking event.
Yeah.
So if they're here, they obviously want value. So I don't beat around the bush. And whenever somebody comes into an event, the main type of connection that I usually make, and I ask them, is usually for founders meeting technical talent, founders who need investment, founders who need video or content. And then in the back of my head, I'm aware of who's at the event and then trying to connect those people.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what was your journey to become a community leader, community manager, event manager, super connector? Was there like a pivotal moment in your life where it kind of all came together?
I feel like a lot of people, when they see like all the events that I'm doing in New York, they think I just started. I've been doing this for 9 to 10 years. I was working in the music industry and in the events industry. So I mainly was doing it for the music space in the beginning. And so we were doing a lot of concerts, music business events, music tech mixers, and things of, that type of caliber, and only focused on that niche. And then I got into tech when I started my first tech startup. And my last co-founder, who I'm no longer with the company anymore, not on any bad terms or anything, but because now we're under the umbrella of SeedLegals, he had brought me to the tech world and I knew nobody here. And then whenever I came to the tech events, I was always thinking, I was like, I feel like this is so different from the entertainment world, and the entertainment world is so different from the tech world. But I felt like there was a little bit of like in between that could be built. And so for me, whenever I get frustrated and feel like there isn't something there for myself, right? I was a founder and I was like, I need funding. I don't have, a dad who went to Yale and then he was connected to all the VCs and then now I can fundraise, right? And so I was looking for a community where I could just go and meet people who are willing to help me. And it's beautiful because now I feel like New York City has that. And I mean, we have so many of the people in the room back there as well, but not just them, but a lot of the New York City scene has really started to adopt that mentality of, hey, I'm going to grab your hand and I'm going to help you. Let's bring you up, instead of it feeling super closed off.
Yeah, as you say, it's all about helping each other, having that positive vibe, that positive community, which helps you get what you need to be successful, and everyone is elevating each other. But obviously the question is, how do you monetize that? Even if you help each other, it's great, everyone's nice, but at some point you need to pay your bills, you need to create value for yourself and for others. So how do you walk that fine line between earning money, monetizing, and at the same time bringing value and building long-term relationships?
Yeah, it's funny. I used to throw a lot of events in the entertainment space, and it was so much easier to convince people to buy a ticket for $40 to $50. You could bring so much value in the tech world now, and people will still think the 40 or 50 is not worth it. And so, I myself, as of last year, I wasn't making any money from the events that we were throwing. But I also wasn't paying for any venues. Because of the company that we built, we had a live venue database. I can see all the venues that we can use for free. If you asked me a year ago, I wouldn't have been the right person to answer for you.
Yeah.
But luckily now I'm under the umbrella of like a bigger company. And so I get paid a salary and I'm taken care of. And so now the focus of SeedLegals is not to become a event production company. And I think the beauty of events is when you're just offering value and you're not charging money and you come under the umbrella of something else. And maybe you become a CMO at a startup, or maybe you become a community manager at some other company and then throw those events. Because I've talked to a lot of these community builders, even the ones who are doing it at the highest level, they're not making money from it. They're making money by, funneling the people who come to the events into becoming customers, right?
Yeah.
Or they work at a big company and then they get a salary, and then maybe they charge with tickets on the side. But community building can't really be incentivized in you trying to become rich off of it. Like the best community builders I know are broke, right?
Yeah.
Because like even myself, I mean, like I've helped so many people throw their first events and I could have signed them on a percentage or equity, but then nobody wants to work with you. And so you just have to hope that you come under the umbrella of a bigger company, or you do it in a way where I guess the money isn't like the main focus. But now with a platform like you guys,
Yeah.
people like that have found, a third or fourth way where they can do that in a much better manner.
Because exactly, it's about fair compensation. You're talking about these community managers, community leaders who are putting so much effort and heart into building a community, helping others, but then they're not getting fairly compensated and they're broke, as you just said.
Yeah.
So it's not really a fair system. If you bring value to others, it's only fair that everyone's a winner. And somehow there's a way to compensate those introducers, those community managers. So we're trying to change that.
Yeah.
Something like intro stars, we can track introductions, you can reward introducers. How do you think that will change the game for other people out there who are trying to build a community, trying to connect people?
Yeah.
What do you think that changes in terms of that dynamic?
I like the way that you guys are doing it because it seems almost like per deal. And it's like every time I introduce you to somebody, if it happens, it happens. It's not like whatever you do for the next 2 years, I own 20% of every event that you throw, everything that you do, everybody that you get introduced to on your own. You guys have found a perfect middle ground, because I feel like a lot of other people who are building platforms that even have approached me, they said, do you want to start signing creators and helping them throw events and kind of building this umbrella? And then, you have them sell tickets under you. And I was like, I'm going to be real with you, as a community builder myself. If somebody did that to me, I wouldn't be interested in it. But the one thing that I really resonate with you guys is it seems very friendly. And it seems like it is truly a philosophy of hoping that everybody wins, and not, hey, let's screw over these community builders and then the top guys just get all the money.
Exactly. Everyone should be a winner. It's a win-win-win. It's about helping each other. And the incentive for people is to help each other.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are getting paid is just fair compensation. It's not the goal in itself. Now, what advice do you have for people who are just starting their networking career as introducers, as connectors, as super connectors, and networkers, founders? Do you have any advice for them to build their network and start connecting people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best piece of advice would be if I were to go to a new industry right now, right? And I've done this from the blockchain field, from music to music tech to general tech to now legal tech. I've been in multiple different industries and had to start over from zero. And I think there are like core principles that you can replicate every time you go into a new field, but it's usually not always like these pillars, right? You can find that online. What I usually don't see is more from like internal or spiritual aspect of it. Like when people want to network, you can't just go in and be like, oh, I'm going to ask them questions or I'm going to provide them value. Do you also have the confidence to walk into that room and truly believe that you're going to give value to people? Because then if you do, technically speaking, this framework or these principles don't even truly matter. If you go in and you speak from the heart and you talk to people and you can genuinely give people value, then people will listen and people will resonate with that,
Yeah.
right? And there's no cookie cutter way. Everybody networks differently. What might work for you might not work for me. What might work for me, what might not work for you. And so I think people have to find out what that is for themselves, what their strengths are, what they can provide value in. And if you don't think you can provide value when you go to a networking event, you might have to reframe the way you look at things. So for example, give me a random industry.
Let's say gardening.
Oh God, that's a good one. That's a really hard one. Okay, so I have absolutely no value to any single person in gardening, right?
I would disagree with you. I'm sure you know people who've got houses with a garden And at some point, they might need someone to help them, right?
You see how you
Because
reframe
it's not always about people you know. It's
Yeah.
not about your knowledge. It's about people you know.
So that's what I was going
And
to
for me,
get at.
everyone has value because everyone knows people.
Yeah, exactly. So my point was, I don't bring any value in gardening, right? And that's really tough for me. But the way that you just positively reframe that is why you're such a good connector. And so a lot of people, when they go into a new industry, they're like, I don't know anything about gardening. I don't know anything. I'm going to be scared. I promise you, every single person is scared whenever they go to network.
Yeah.
People look at me and they're like, how do you throw this event? Or how are you working with this brand? I promise you, in the past week, every single person that you have looked up to that is a community builder has probably been scared in some way. But the difference is that we show up and we just still reframe our mentality. So for example, if I were to go into the gardening industry tomorrow, let's say everything is scratched off and I have to become a founder that's building a gardening, sustainability, blockchain, AI creator company, something like
Throwing
that.
all the words.
Throwing all the trendy buzzwords in there.
So you go for it.
Okay, so something along those lines, and tomorrow I were to go in, naturally I'm going to be scared, I'm going to be intimidated, but then I'm going to go in and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to think, okay, I know that I have friends that can do video, and I know friends that I have that can do photography. And there's somebody I met like 4 years ago that I briefly, rubbed shoulders with and then connected with them, got their email, but I haven't talked to them in 4 years. Well, now I have to build that confidence within myself to be able to touch base with them, communicate with them, and maybe connect them with some people at this event. So then I go to that event, right?
I mean, it's all about connecting people. At the end of the day, that's the value anyone can bring in any industry. It's about people.
Yeah.
And everyone knows people. And I think it's our human nature to want to connect people. We love it, right?
Yeah.
So no, you're doing an amazing job building an incredible community. Now you're working for SeedLegals, but obviously you've built your personal brand over 9-10 years, building these communities, doing these events, and you're just going up from here. So where can people follow you nowadays? What are you working on right now, which is really dear to your heart? Because you said it yourself, it's about your personal passion, your higher purpose. And I think that is so important. Whatever you do in life, it's about that higher purpose. Like, how do you want to change the world and help others? So what are you working on now?
Yeah, I mean, basically, Ilias's events is my calendar on Luma, and that's in partnership with SeedLegals' calendar.
Yeah.
So those are conjoined. You guys can find that on Luma. And then anywhere on socials, you could just find me by my first and last name, which is Ilias Anwar, ILIAS, and then my last name is AN. If you're a community builder, creator, founder, investor, I'd love to partner. I'd love to work with you guys. Just reach out to me and we'll get something going.
Cool. And
Well, you're the platform.
Absolutely, use the platform. You're also very prolific on LinkedIn. I follow all your posts, super engaging. So no, you're really good. So please keep on doing what you're doing. I'm loving it. And I can't wait to do some events together. That'll be so much fun.
Of course. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Ilias. Take care.